That stunk. That since Enzo here, I've not said those words, but my God, that was not good. I've been a fan of Enzo Maresca, and I'm still a fan of Enzo Maresca, but whoa, I don't know what happened today, but it was not good at all. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leicester 1, and where do we start with that one? I'm not horribly overly going, oh, this is absolutely terrible. Throw away everything. It was just a very weird performance. From minute 1, 30 seconds in, right, we'll rewind it. We'll get into some of the formations. So let's set up again 3-2-4-1 as we expect. Fast Cody and Fast Vestergaard Cody is a back 3. Then Winks and Ricardo as your midfield 2. Then this is where it changed a lot. Mavididi kept his place, but then Cassidy, Yunus, and Fatau changed, and Jamie Vardy started where he didn't start the match in that as well. What do we say to that? I mean, the first 30 seconds, it was just stole from Ricardo, and they should have probably scored in the first 30 seconds. That this was happening. It was just, it was I've never felt like this before. When we've played football before, we've been awful, and I've just gone, God, we absolutely are crap, and I just feel down in the dumps. Today, I'm like, I don't exactly know what happened. There's bad days in the office, and then whatever the hell that was, because that was a bit of, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to feel because Sheffield, can I just give credit? Sheffield Wednesday were fantastic. Considering they're bottom of the table, considering they are where they are, considering I don't believe they've got a win. They might have had one win. The championship table up at the moment, and we'll get into the championship table because they're now, again, the gap's paused. They have one win, 4 draws, and they're fighting for their life. Stinky one that was. And then again, Ricardo gives it away in the first 30 seconds. You're thinking, come on, like, oh my God, okay, that's what happens. And at the time, I was thinking, look, they play high risk football, give a bit away. That's okay. We'll see if we can get past this. Then Sheffield Wednesday come on to us a little bit more. I'm just going to try and call Wednesday from now on. Then Manson in the 4th minute gifts it. Again, we know Hermansen does play this style of football, but I was just a bit confused. In terms of that, again, we've got Anno coming in. Anno, I mean, I'm struggling to analyze this one because I'll just keep saying that one stank today.
That was really poor, I have to say. I mean, I think we made a lot of changes at the start of the game. So I think and expected to have a lack of fluency, I think, because of that. But then look at who the prime offenders were in terms of making mistakes. Ricardo after 20 seconds, Vestergaard like just giving the ball away when there's no pressure, Hermansen just kicking it straight thing. These are 3 of the players that play the most amount of games for us. So that's just kind of brain fart territory. New players who came into the team didn't really cover themselves with too much glory. Yunus Akon, I thought, had a good first half, faded away a little bit in the second half. But look, we got the goal and then we made the changes. And I thought after we made the changes, I thought, oh, okay, we'll just comfortably see the game out now. But we didn't put it to bed and just kept giving away some bad corners and just all round a bad day in the office. I think the concern is that these bad days in the office are starting to become quite frequent. And I'm trying to think, when was the last time we had a really good performance? Because forget just the results. It's like, for example, say Sunderland, we beat them, but we were saying, yeah, so there you go, or Norwich or something like that. It was a long time ago. So, I think what someone's saying to me is, how much of this is it the tactics that are getting us the result, or how much of it is just because you've got such good players that they get us out of trouble? And I think you'd have to say that objectively at the moment, we're winning because we've got player quality rather than us like battering teams. And like, it's fine to play this patient style, but maybe in like a game like this is like, can you not just do what Leeds do and play more of a 4-3-3 and kind of attack and stuff like this? Because the thing is that even when we're winning 1-0, I reckon Sheffield Wednesday must have won that game on the XG because in the first, they could have scored 3 goals in that first half
More shots
alone.
on target. Did we only have one shot on target?
No, we did have a few.
No,
Like I
we
think
had more
Casey
than that.
McAteer came close to scoring.
3.
So maybe we could have scored, but I mean, yeah, it was just a very pedestrian type of affair. And look, to be honest with you, probably still, I did say to you though on the weekend how like in the championship, well, look at that, the bottom team beat us quite comfortably on the expected goals. Now I said to you on the weekend that in the championship though, despite what it feels like, every point gained is truly a point gained because it's such a brutal division and it's about grinding out results. And as this calendar schedule, because we've got another game on the weekend, which is high flying West Brom, then we got another game 3 days afterwards and another game. There's so many games coming up that you do have to rotate the squad. Look, we had Wout Fast get injured today. How long is he going to be out for? Maybe not long, maybe he will be, but they're going to start. It's just inevitable for all teams in the division. You'll pick up injuries. So I actually think getting minutes into the players isn't a bad thing at all. But when they're not doing that well, it's an issue. So yeah, look, it's a very poor performance. You've got to say all round. You can't say Wednesday didn't deserve to get something out of the game. They might feel aggrieved they didn't win, to be honest with you. So
Even
yeah,
in
we
even
get
the
it.
first
Yeah,
5 minutes, they should have been 2-0 up, in my opinion.
exactly.
The first goal, maybe not sure. Ricardo gets stalled off, but Hermansen's just. We've given him a lot of praise, and he was a little bit again. He got caught out, and I wasn't sure what he was doing with that pass. He just kind of like left it across the ground, and then again they high press, took it off us, and somehow he just put it straight at the person that was the number 9 or whatever it was. Put it straight
After
at
that, he
Cody.
was okay though. No, I mean, look, yeah, he made a fuck up, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to happen. I mean, the thing is, when you play that style, you are. I mean, the funny thing is despite that, that's not actually how we conceded the goal, right? We didn't actually concede the goal for it being a brain fart. It's just about set piece pressure at the end why that's kind of happened. So, yeah, but I mean, like I say, it's like I still think that over the course of the season, it's just about really getting to 90 plus points as soon as you possibly can. So it's still a point gained in towards that territory. You're going to have some off days. But yeah, I mean, look at the last set of games. In the last 4 games, that's 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 win.
1 win.
And yeah, and the win was, the win was pretty convincing, to be fair. I think the second half against Watford, we were pretty good, even if the first half was bad. But then, like the first half again against Watford, we were like, well, it's a bit lackadaisical, don't really going anywhere. So it kind of feels like that is the norm. If we're being honest, if you take the season as a whole, it is basically been these pretty indifferent performances, and then we turn it on for a few minutes, normally towards the end of the game, win, and we move on. Whereas if you look at the stats and everything like that, it's like, is this one of the best championship teams of all time? We're not playing like that for sure. So, it is what it is. But look, it's still top of the league. Got to be happy with that. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to get that points per game, I would feel, unless something turns up. I don't know what they can do, really. What Zenzo got to do? Feels like it's all gone a bit stale. Like, do we need a new player or something just to give people a bit of kick up the backsies? Don't know, tough to say. What I will say is I do feel if we'd have started with the team that we had at the end, even though we conceded, we'd have probably won this game quite comfortably. Because I do feel that Ndidi and KDH, when they came on, were really good. Ndidi was winning the ball a lot. KDH was making some great progressive runs with the ball and putting some nice balls into the box that on another day we could have finished. So if we'd have started with them, we probably would have won the game comfortably. But then you can't rely on them every game. You've got to, if you can't play against a team that's rooted to the bottom of the league and try and use some of your squad players, then when can you do it? But ultimately, it's only a point. And you'd have to say, would you be disappointed with a point coming into the game? Absolutely, you would. And we've only got 1 point.
Yep, and I'm with you. Sorry, I just need to. I'm
No
going to try and get Luke. 'Cause I forgot that Luke. Trying to try and message him and get this get the thing sent over. But in the meantime, I'm with you. I think the first game we got it wrong. We got it wrong for large periods past the game, and it was again the goal was coming. It was going to happen eventually, and we didn't quite rise to the challenge. But I'll give it credit for the 1-0 for Towel goal. At time I forgot his name. Irufu, or what was his name was. That was coming at Iorfa. That was coming up against.
Yeah.
He was bullying, and he should have probably had a yellow before then. Mavididi. And just
Big
push him off
time.
the ball. Right, you're not getting on this. Again, championship style. Didn't get a yellow, but credit to him. Mavididi was brilliant. Dribbling, 1-2, took him on, created the space, got the cross in, and then it was put away by Salbert. Fatal will get the credits for it, but I think Mavidi deserves a lot of praise for his work
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
ball.
that's what you want to see more from him. It's not all just about scoring goals; it's goals and assists, and that's where he's at. He can be really good and he can make things happen. He also had like a few nice flicks in the second half as well. So I saw some people still thought he was not good, but I think overall he had a decent game. I don't think he was the problem at all. He was trying to make stuff happen, and as you say, I mean, on another day, maybe he even could have had his opposite man sent off. He got fouled enough of them. Definitely some decisions that went the way of the home team. But we can't blame the referee. The referee is not why points were dropped today. This was just purely on us being very lackadaisical and not quite at the races. And maybe we did think in our head that I think one thing that's a bit of a concern is that if you're Maresca, you've made that many rotation options, and I just don't think he'll do that again. Because he'll just be like, well, I can't afford to. I've got to go strong now. West Brom is the next game, so he'll definitely go strong for that one. But my concern then is towards the end of December, which is when Ipswich are coming up, that we might have to play a team a bit like the one that started today, and it'll give quite a bad performance. But whatever, we'll do what needs to be done at the time, I suppose.
Yeah, and again, and in terms of that, in terms of Ipswich, they won 3-1 today. Looking at some of their results that have gone on in the Championship, and bring them up at the moment. Just in terms of that, the results have not, they're not been kind. For example, the pressure's back on us now. Leeds have won, Southampton won, Ipswich won, we drew, so it's still again a point. It's our first draw of the season. Blackburn won, but again, Leeds. So we're looking at people that are going to be fighting us towards top of the table. Leeds, Southampton, Ipswich. They're looking at us going, right,
Yeah,
we got
and
them.
West Brom won yesterday as well, and that's a big
Yeah.
game now because West Brom are the most informed team in the division. So I think if we lose to them on Saturday, that will put the cat amongst the pigeons. So let's see if we can bounce back there. But yeah, it does feel that whereas a month ago it just felt like it was HMS pissed the league and no one could stop us, that now all of a sudden the wheels have come off the train slightly. And the weird thing is there isn't really any reason why any of this should have happened. Like, haven't had any key injuries. We've actually got people back. We had a nice international break to have a rest. So yeah, it's a bit of a concern. We did say at the start of the season as well that we expected to start rough and improve over time. So yeah, the weird thing is that actually it's going the other way. Like if you look at Southampton with Russell Martin, he was under pressure and almost could have got sacked. But now actually they're in very good form and they are going to be challenging. And if we mess up, they want us to mess up so they can catch us up. So, whereas I thought we might be like that, and now we're starting to put on our little bit of a run. But instead, we're coming off, it is worrying. It's a bit worrying. And I know we like to overreact and everything, but yeah, I mean, if we don't go up at the first time of asking, it's you got to fear for yourself. Like we just played Watford on the weekend. Well, Watford used to be in the Premier League not so long ago, and they haven't been back since. Norwich, another team, haven't been back since. Sunderland, they were in the league when we won the Premier League last.
They went
at
down
the
to
first
League
time.
One.
There you go. Did they really after that drop? Wow. Okay, so I mean,
Yeah,
we've been there
2 years.
ourselves, right?
They went 1, then 2, got down to League One, and then they came back to the Championship.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's not just easy, but and again, it's we've had some of these performances where we've seen aspects of this. But I think for the first time, we've just seen that level of sloppiness for 90 minutes, pretty much. We had a few moments of goodness, but overall, it was like normally in a game you'd have 10 minutes where you'd lose the ball, the opposition lose the ball. It's like you have the ball now, you have the ball, and we're kind of battling, but nothing really comes of it. I think it did lack a play. I don't blame him, but like a Harry Winks was kind of taken out of the game. The players control it, going, right, here's where the next pass is going to go. It almost seemed like, okay, what now? It seems a bit rushed at times. They didn't quite know what to do with that information.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, I was going to say that said, at the end of the day, it's a bit of an unforgivable draw because you're in the 90th minute and you're one up. You just got to have game management at that point. And it's like they didn't really look like coming close to score, in my opinion. That's the frustrating thing. Like at the start of the game, for sure, they should absolutely have scored several goals. I think we can all agree on that. But towards the end, if anything, it just felt like the second goal was inevitable. We were going to kill them on their counter and just do the classic Leicester City thing of scoring in the last 15 minutes. This time around, there was a goal in the last 15 minutes, but it was by the opposition. And there you go. So that's got to be something you've got to be angry about. We've got to learn that as a team. I mean, once again, though, this does feel like one of those games that, like, if we played like that in a Premier League, you get tonked. Like we got tonked several times in the Premier League last season. So that's a concern of itself. Like I say, it's more just player quality rather than individual quality. Yeah, individual quality is getting there rather than team. I mean, like some people are asking, do we even have the players for this style and stuff like that? I don't want to overreact because at the end of the day, we're still top of the league, right? And it's always going to be a bedding in process. But I put it this way: there've been grumbles all season, and I think there will be a point where he comes under pressure playing this type of way. We'll probably get away with it in this division, but it will come. So I'm just hoping. Look, I'd still give benefit of the doubt, but I do think if we're in the new year and we're still putting in this kind of performance, you gotta be like, come on, Enzo, you gotta fix up a little bit here, right? Like, ironically, I feel like you're gone, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he comes out with because I'm really intrigued to see what he says. He'll probably say, yeah, it's a process and things are going to change and it's going to take time, which I understand. However, I'm interested to see what he says in terms of this performance because with like the Hull result and the Leeds result, I could understand where he was coming from. But this one, as you're mentioning, there's not really an excuse.
No, it's just poop. That's the word we're looking for here. Let's be honest. Yeah. So I think he probably will say something like that. I don't think, because he did say even before the game that for a team like Sheffield Wednesday, there's nothing really to lose when you're playing a team like this. You got to remember Wolves, who were bottom of the league, I think at the time, whatever, beat Man City earlier on in the Premier League season and got their season kick-started. So these things do happen. Although, yeah, like I say, it's not that they played amazing. It's just we played poor. That was we made them look good. It was one of those type of things. That I think is the issue. And yeah, as I said, I think when we get to the new year, I mean, funnily enough, I could even take that we concede the goals by giving it away sloppily if on the other side of things, we were scoring some great goals and playing sexy football. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the funny thing. We're not really giving away any goals through sloppy passing. We actually haven't done that, right? They've come more off set pieces and pressure and stuff like that. There hasn't been too many goals where it's like what could have happened to Ricardo right at the beginning where trying to play out the back and it's been robbed and they've scored a goal. But equally, if you look at the other end, what are we really getting out of doing this style? We're not really, making chance upon shot. Yeah. Okay, we did against Watford, but it wasn't for the whole game. We only really sustained it for like a half an hour period. So I think that's my concern, is that it's not really either one or the other. It is just a bit of a 1-0 at best kind of style, which I suppose 1-0 every game will get you promoted, so fair enough. But yeah, you can feel the disappointment in our voices because we felt at one point we're like, oh my god, the all-time points record is on, surely, right? We're gonna smash it. Now you're like, feels like more like we'll probably lurch over the line kind of thing, and we'll see how. And look, we have to hope we do. I mean, I don't know you, but I think the big fear, we've already seen 2 losses in a row, is that are we capable of going on like another slump like that and falling out of the playoff places? Because that can happen. Normally, the Championship is a really volatile division, and you'd have expected with 3 really high quality teams and the squads that they have in Southampton, us, and Leeds, that it would be a lot more competitive than it was. Luckily, they started slowly, but they're picking up the pace now. We have to be careful if they hit a red hot. Because put it this way. Do I think, for example, that another team could go on a 10-game winning run? I do. I do think I could see that. I think, even though they take chances and stuff like that, I just feel like the quality Leeds have got, I don't think they will, but I don't think it's impossible they could do something like that. And even Southampton, just because their style of play is so high possession, that if something really clicks, I don't think they will. I'll put it out there. I don't think they will. Maybe Ipswich could. They look good.
Ipswich are doing phenomenally well.
Yeah.
Like, considering just what we won, League One.
Yeah. I've said to you a lot of times that I feel we don't create enough chances. And that's summary of today, in my opinion. We didn't create enough chances. So didn't score that many goals.
Yeah. Again, didn't score enough, didn't do enough to win. And also, for the first time in a while, we played badly and the other team decided, right, we're going to not miss our chances. We're going to actually take them. Even if it comes in the last minute, that's going to hurt. You saw Yannick Vestergaard's frustration just at the end, but I mean, I understand you're frustrated, but this is what you need to actually turn up and do stuff, because I think he had a bit of a poor performance today, and I've said a lot of his praises early on, but he let me down a little bit today with his performance and his passing out from the back. At times it looked just slow and lackadaisical.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, Luke, are you there, mate?
I am, mate. Sorry, I'm just driving, so I can't have my camera on. Don't want to show the whole world my two chins. Um, I missed the second half. I fell asleep. It was like too brutally early, and I just caved. But man, like going by what Anil said last time with you guys, why do we keep persisting with Cassidy? Like, I know he wasn't his usual side, but he was absolutely woeful for that first half. Like, I just think it's a waste of time, to be honest with you, and money. Like, just and as for the defense and being slow and poor, like I feel kind of bad saying this, but like, how much do you think Connor Cody like unsettles that back three?
I think he's just playing out of position. I think if you put him in the back, if you put him in the middle of a back three, I don't know how you think, Adam. I think he works. I think he'll work in that squad, but playing in the position that he's Connor Cody on the right, he's played some good balls, and I can see him going into it, but we know his position, and it's not on that right hand side.
Yeah, but playing from the back, right? He doesn't have the sorry, he doesn't have that pace in his pass that Vestergaard has. It doesn't work. It's too slow.
Yeah,
What do you think,
maybe.
Adam?
I don't know. Like, I mean, he put a bad pass in for Ricardo right at the start of the game, which is one of the reasons why he got robbed. Although Ricardo should have played the ball either immediately back or cleared it in that position early on in the game. But I just think he had a mediocre performance, a 6 out of 10. I don't think he was either good nor bad. He's just like bang average. And maybe you've got a point, but I mean, as I was saying to you before the game, I hoped that he did do a lot of rotation because I think the players need to play and we need to understand what they've got about them. I do agree with you with Cassidy. You know, like what I've said before is that like if we're not gonna if we haven't bought him or we don't have an option to buy him, then why are we spending the time developing a player who isn't even that good? You don't mind it if someone who's on loan for you for a season, but they're absolutely amazing, and you know it's going to be like a love story where at the end of the season it's hard to say goodbye, but for that season they're amazing with you. That's okay, you can tolerate that. But in this case, it does really feel that when he's playing, you're just not as good a team and it's costing you. Like the comparison between him and Ndidi was night and day. And Dennis
Yeah.
Pratt is back, so why not give him a go? He was in the team at the start of the season, even before Ndidi, right? So we could try that. So, yeah, I do agree there. I don't think he's
Pratt
the reason
wasn't even on the
specifically.
bench, by the way.
Oh, is he not? Okay, well, in that case,
No,
maybe he's got
just
a
I
knock
just
then
thought
or
I'd check
something
that,
like
but Pratt wasn't even on the bench.
that. Okay. Well, in that case, I've got to take that back because that's a bit unfair to say that. But I mean, point is that well, he did say that he's got a full squad to choose from, so he's just opted not to pick him. Maybe he's got a bad attitude or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's true. When the guys put in another 6 out of 10 performance there, Cassidy, what is the point of us playing the player? I mean, it's a clear, you would other teams are spotting it. That's a guy that you close down. If you look at the ratings afterwards, all the fans like, what's he doing playing? So it's pretty clear to everyone. And we've given him a lot of games now. Like, actually, I hate to say this. This might be really harsh on him, but it's starting to feel a bit like a Sumare situation. Remember him? So Sumare was another one that was brought in, a lot of hype around him. And he was, to be fair to Brendan Rodgers, given a really good stint. At the start of the season, when we signed Samari, he was given 10 games uninterrupted to play. We were losing games, but he kept with him to keep giving him a chance. You're like, come on, guy, show us something. I think he had like one good game against Spartak Moscow, and that was it. And then after that, he never got a run of 10 games again, and he didn't deserve it, quite frankly. And okay, maybe Caste hasn't been starting, but he has got given the start today, and he's just never impressed when he started. And I think that's an issue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, and just on that side, thanks, Lewis. Appreciate the raid, but again, we're just speaking about your man Cassidy again. It's not working, man.
Can have him back.
Just not happening. It's just not happening today. We got two Lukes, I think now. What's going on? But yeah. So again, when it comes to that, yeah, thanks for the raid, Lewis. I appreciate it. Everybody could like it, really, really useful. Coming into this now, because again, I don't think there's that much talking about the match because it's pretty meaty overall. I just wanted to come into another bit now. This is what again, this is the real thing we have to worry about. Where we are at the moment, Leicester City again are only 1 point now, with Ipswich picking up points, Leeds, Southampton picking up points, West Brom we've got at the weekend now. I mean, looking at that, Luke, it is looking a bit tighter now. We were looking at that on Monday, going, "Oh, everybody else lost. and we won. So again, it works in our favour. Now again, one match, we're back in it.
Yeah, we really need to get some points in the next run of games and continue to separate ourselves. Like that was 3 points we should have got. And not every team's going to play us like Watford and or or Preston, and sit deep. But when we get pressed like that, it cuts us out playing it from the back and kind of nullifies it a little bit. And like it's I don't know, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just that it breaks that play down. Like it just the whole thing looked disorganized today from what I saw that first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just seemed to get a little bit all over the place. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the statistics around that as well. We had 70% possession, but we had less shots taken, less XG, less big chance created, less shots on target. I want to see the average permissions and things like that. But we are in a weird position where we had possession, but I think for the majority of it, it was just hanging around like the defenders in the midfield. Didn't really go. There was an opportunity where we go, right, we've really got to go for the attack. Fatawa was pretty starved. Mavididi was pretty starved. Vardy was pretty starved. It was just a bit all over the place.
Just not a good performance, but I think Luke's hit the nail on the head. Like, the irony is that this style supposedly is going to be really good against teams that press us, because we're going to be able to play through the spaces. And this was a team that on paper should be perfect because they play a pressing style, but they've got the worst quality in terms of players in the division, maybe with the exception of Rotherham. And instead, they cause us loads of problems and force us into lots of mistakes. So, yeah, what we're doing, it's not a very good thing. Yeah, 8 points. I mean, that's still a good buffer, but wasn't it like 14 at one point or something like that, right? And it feels like
Leeds, it would have been 17 points between
there you
them
go.
and second.
So it feels like we're the architects of our own downfall. There's no need for it, really. And unfortunately, it's happened. So what can you do?
I mean, pretty much spot on. I mean, in terms of that, we didn't really, looking at some of we couldn't have really brought on anybody else as well. I mean, looking at the bench, Solarchek probably wasn't going to come on. Luke, are you surprised not to see Tom Cannon, or was it too early for him to try and come onto the pitch? Because I think it's the first time I remember Jamie Vardy actually getting 90 minutes.
That's what I'm more surprised about, mate, that he got a full 90 minutes, like not even the Kalechi. Like, I was talking to Anil about this, like eventually we need to see Cannon come on and get some minutes, mate. Like, because once Daka and Kalechi go to AFCON, like I don't want him just to go in like completely fresh, especially if like Vardy were to get injured, like then we're just forced to play him. But I am surprised, and it was a beautiful. I woke up around that point when Vardy put an absolute beautiful ball into McAteer, and that was a sitter as well, by the way. So, yeah, mate, it's just I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I got to get ready for work here, so I just wanted to quickly come on and moan a little bit. But yeah, everyone, please like and subscribe. Shout out to our Neil. He always comes in and drops knowledge. Thanks for having us on briefly, Neil. And yeah, let's just hope that we can redeem ourselves on the weekend.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, appreciate that, Luke. Mate, I'll leave your name in the channel title again. Make sure you check out again Fox Down Under. I think hopefully we'll do some stuff over the weekend. But yeah, appreciate that, mate. Thanks, man. See you later.
No worries, mate. See you, guys.
God, seeing the sunlight in this is so weird. But the commitment he shows, getting up at 3 a.m. to watch these games.
He's the man, yeah. Yeah, he's right though. I mean, and like I say, we probably couldn't pick a worse team to face right now because we're literally playing the most informed team in the division. We're playing some great football. So let's see. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe a bit of a crisis is needed just to really send the message and everything like that. Do you know what? I really wouldn't be surprised now. Like I've been saying for a long time, I didn't think we'd sign someone in the window. Now I've got a feeling we might sign 2 or even 3 players. And the reason I think that is I think they'll be like, we made such a strong start. We're in a good position. And now it's starting to look a bit shaky. So screw it. If we can just cheat and just basically buy another, ridiculous player just to make sure that we go over the top, they'll probably do it because it's better to take that chance now rather than do it. But yeah, not good times, isn't it? It's a bit glum.
No, and we can't rely on certain players to play. For example, you're looking at as you mentioned, Kieran Dewsbury Horde made an impact, and Ndidi made a pretty much. They both them made a pretty much initial impact. I think Eunice, we've sung his praise for a while. I think it was good, but I think in the second half it didn't come on to the level that I thought he could do. Do you think that was where those two number 8s are vital to the way this position works? Because as we saw in the first half, Cassidy just looks a bit like a passenger, just looks lost at times.
Yeah, we didn't have that much fluid football. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily too bad because it wasn't like they were getting forced off the ball, but equally they weren't really doing it. I think Eunice in the first half, like I said, was quite strong. I remember him almost getting onto a through ball that Faye's played. He made some really nice passes. Second half, though, I do remember there was one bit that we had like a break. I think it might even have been a 3-on-2 situation. He had 3 players around him, and all he had to do was like put a pass and we'd be through, and he just lost the ball. And that was a bit frustrating, but I think he was okay. I think he was one of our better players overall. Not that it's saying that much. It definitely matters, but I think look, the problems were actually before that. I think the back 3 all had pretty bad games, to be honest with you. I think when Justin came on, actually, he was quite a bit better, like doing some better forward runs and stuff like that. Yeah, look, we just made a lot of changes and the fluency wasn't there. I noticed that as soon as KDH and Ndidi came on, all of a sudden the passing was going zip, 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 way faster, winning the ball back. Like the team, it literally went like we're out 2 gears. Like, okay, here we go. But yeah, I actually thought I'd be sitting here with.
It was the off the ball runs as well coming into the box, which were just missing as well.
McAteer as well, right? Yeah, that's why he gets into the team. And I actually thought I was going to be sitting here with you now and we'd be like, yeah, a tale of 2 teams, not even 2 halves. The team that started was like really rotational and all over the place. And the team that ended, which is the proper Leicester, yeah, great performance, 1-0, 2-0 win easy. But actually they gave it up at the end, which is kind of criminal, which is the game management. So I think that's the frustrating thing, because when we had the not so good team, we actually were ahead. Then when we put our good team on and we actually played better, it wasn't enough. So concerns, but yeah.
And I think it's the first time that we've conceded after like 70 minutes or something. The majority of the time we've conceded quite early on in the first half or early on in the second half. And then we've either not been able to score or we've gone on to win the game and scoring that extra time. So again, it's kind of that, we'll say the honeymoon period is over, but at the same time, this is the wake-up call. And we've only got a short time to turn it around before West Brom.
Yeah. I mean, do look at the weekend, though. Like Leeds, they drew away to Rotherham.
Yeah.
So we've drawn away to a lower club as well. These things do happen. Just got to pick ourselves up and go again. I guess if it's away from home as well, it's not the worst. Again, it's not like a battering. It's only a 1-1. So as I say, it's still a point gained. But as I say, I think the frustrating thing is it's not even the drop points, it's the performance. That's actually, I think, the bigger problem here, right? Because this is not just one bad performance. This is now quite a few bad performances in maybe even as many as the last 10 games. And that, I think, tells more about a team than the other way. Like I always give that example of when we were in the Great Escape season, we were losing so many games. But actually, at the end of the game, you're like, I don't even think we played too badly. Like we had a good go, we made some chances, we got a bit unlucky, but I can't really say that was a stinker. Then we did start putting a few stinkers in, and then we turned it around. But yeah, but here it's like the opposite, right? It's kind of like, okay, we were getting the results, but were you getting lucky with it or not? Difficult to say. I mean, look, for sure it's not as bad as it was last season where we were like both having bad performances and losing. That was the worst of both worlds. But put it this way, we've got to buck our ideas up quite soon. And I think the worrying thing is we've just come back from the international break now. And I was really hoping that that break is what was needed for the team so they'd kick into gear. And second half against Watford, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's back. We're back, baby. We had the blip and we've done it. And then, yeah, to put in like a poor performance like today, well, let's see what Enzo's made of. I mean, like I say, there are mitigating circumstances. Heavy rotations led to a drop in performance. I would say that if you play Football Manager, then if you've ever done it, but it's very similar. If you rotate 5 of your players and go into the next game, unless you're a top team like Real Madrid or Man City, you can quite often get these shock results because it kind of knows that you lose the team chemistry and you have to put your good players on towards the end to try and rescue the result. So maybe that game knows a lot more than we're letting on for. But I just think that the difference in quality is so massive. Though, like, look at that chance they missed right at the start of the game. Like, there's no way that any of our strikers are missing that. Even Tom Cannon, who I've not even seen play yet, I can't believe he wouldn't stick that away. because it's just like I feel like I would have put that chance away, and I'm a terrible finisher. So yeah, just frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And again, I trust Enzo to get this back on track as well. So again, in terms of that, it's pretty much not to, even notes wise. Normally, I'd make notes and talk about intricate passes of play. It was just muddy and sloppy and just not good enough for a lot of period of time. I still think we'll turn it around. But we have to get some of those technical. I think Dennis Pratt is a player that we go, look, we could bring him into the squad, and I think he would do a good job. Technically, can put the balls in, can get in good positions. I think he's being a little bit overlooked at the moment.
Yeah, and Leicester, like that is quite telling. He wasn't in the squad at all, though. So I'm guessing his performances weren't good enough. I mean, we will see, but I do know that like if Enzo's from the Maresca school, that he's quite harsh on that, and he will keep people out of the team for a long time. Like, I know we all like to hate on Rodgers, but for example, I remember there was a long time where he didn't use Iheanacho at all, and Iheanacho wasn't even in the squad. And then I remember there was this game against Everton. I don't know if you remember this, where he put Kelechi on with like 20 minutes to go. Kelechi scored the winner in the last minute. And even Jamie Carragher on the commentary goes, "This is the best I've ever seen Kelechi Iheanacho. He was winning everything. He was running, causing chaos, scoring goals. And after that, he actually became an important player for us. Whereas prior to that, he looked like a player that was on the way out. So sometimes, dropping a player for an extended run of time to make them prove that they want to get back into the team is not a bad thing. To see that they're really hungry to kind of make it. That's when squad rotation can work for you, that your team is so competitive that like it's not even the opposition. It's like, I've got to be better than Keane and Dewsbury Hall in training this week. Otherwise, there's no chance I'm going to get in. And then if you do well and your manager notices that. But yeah, we're not in that place. Look, for what it's worth, though, yeah, I mean, I don't get it. And, I've made this statement a few times that is Casadei, the illegitimate son of Enzo Maresca from some kind of affair or something like that. Because sometimes I feel like there isn't, like, I'm pretty sure if you looked at the average ratings for the squad over the whole season, he'll have the worst rating, certainly for the amount of games played. Unless maybe Wenya Marcel Madabadua, because he only played like 2 games. And even then he scored in one of them. So it's probably not even that bad.
I think he only played in 1 game and he scored in that.
There you go.
That, but yeah, it was just a bit of a stinker overall. Any final thoughts, Anna? Because I think we covered pretty much everything apart from again the goal, which was pretty much coming. Can't really say much. That again, they for me, we've talked about it before. We would beat teams into the ground with the way that we play around them. Didn't seem to phase Sheffield Wednesday that much. They kept going. I thought, especially in the first half, right, we're playing some good passage around that we're going to tire them. They didn't tire. They genuinely.
Yeah, let's give Sheffield Wednesday a lot of credit. They're bottom of the table. They've changed their manager. Their manager looks quite good. I will say that because from a coaching perspective, they are clearly like quite a German style transition team, and they were making chances. And what you could see, especially in that first 20 minutes, is that if a manager like that was given a team with better quality, he would probably do something quite effective because they actually generated the chances and put the team under pressure, but they just didn't convert, right? And then, as you say, they kind of kept that going through the whole game. They made lots of substitutions. They did change a little bit. They then kind of backed up and then only started pressing from the halfway line to catch their breath. But overall, their game plan worked quite effectively. And so to do that from a team that was so low on confidence is quite impressive, I would say. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I think they're still almost certainly going to go down because they're so far adrift of safety. But if they keep with him for a while, he could turn him into a good team. That's interesting. So yeah, let's give Sheffield Wednesday a lot of respect and credit where it's due. It's not just the Leicester Moan show. For us, though, I really want to see, and I'm expecting a much better performance. This is a big test now. We're playing one of the most informed team in the division with a good manager. Carlos Corberán was Bielsa's assistant before becoming a manager in his own right. They have a really stingy defence as well. Ipswich said when they lost to them at the weekend, that is the only time they've played a team where they never look like scoring, which is very rare for them because they've scored the most goals in the division, I believe. So we're going to be playing against a stern defence who are very technical quality, are going to be high on confidence, are going to look at this performance and they're going to fancy it. So let's see what we're made of. On paper, that does not sound like a good recipe for us to play. So let's show our quality, our Premier League class TM, and let's get something. It'd be an interesting one though. What if we have a good performance but lose? Would I take that? Or is it just all about the 3 points? I don't know. I'm greedy. I want both. So I'd expect the team that's going to win the championship to be able to do both. So let's see if we are that team.
Yep, and just looking at that, I'm just looking at the West Brom. Won 9, lost 5, drawn 5, lost 4.
But look
So
at their
again,
last
it's
5
still,
games. Look at their last 5 games. The form table, as we like to call it.
yeah, that's good form. Them again, Southampton, Leeds have got they look good as well. Ipswich
Yeah.
have again a similar form. Actually, we have probably the weakest form out of the top until about out of the top 6.
Yeah.
Looking at that,
Yeah, big time.
even
So
7.
yeah, and probably maybe even below that. So look, but this does happen. It's do you know what? I'm pretty sure that even Reading in the season where they broke the points record, they actually had a fairly bad start to the season before becoming quite consistent.
Yeah.
Although they only lost 3 games, we've already lost 3 games. So, do I
Burnley
think
was
we're not?
similar.
Yeah, did they only lose 3 games? No, they started
No.
slowly before.
They went on a bad run of games, and then it clicked, and then they took off.
Yeah, I will say though that I think, I don't want to dismiss them, but the division was much easier last year. Like this season, you've got 3 teams that are way better than the teams that are still in the Premier League. I don't think people will even deny that. Looking how bad Sheffield United and maybe even Burnley themselves are, Luton not the greatest either, and Ipswich have come from nowhere. So that's 4 really great teams, and there are some good teams there as well. Like I think Middlesbrough, got to the playoffs last time. Coventry
West
got to the
Brom.
playoff. Well, they've kind of come from nowhere, though. I would say that was not a team that people were expecting. I would say teams that are underperforming right now, Coventry, 100%, because Coventry got to the playoff finals, only lost on penalties. Yes, they lost Gyökeres. Yes, they lost Gustavo Harmer, but they spent quite a lot of money. They're actually on good form. They may come back into it. But I think they were one of the better teams that we played, even if it was game number 1 of the season. So I would say they are the team that have underperformed the most so far. The next team I would say is Sunderland, even though they played really well against us. And that's just because when you saw how well they played against us, I don't know about you, but I was like, wow, how is this team not like in the playoffs, if not slightly pushing above that? So I can't really speak. I'm guessing because they've got young players that they're inconsistent. And then maybe the next team I would say is Middlesbrough, who again got to the playoffs last season, but again lost a lot of their bigger name players. But look, they've actually started to turn it on recently. Other than that, I think the usual suspects are there. But yeah, West Brom, I think we're probably expected to be maybe top 9, top 10. They look like they could. I mean, look, if they beat us, then it's really on. So I'm not even going to consider that right now. And hopefully I'm not here, looking really po-faced in the post-match after that one.
Yeah. Again, we'll have to see. Again, even though I still trust Enzo and what he's doing. We just need to, again, crack on and get results now. We're still in a good position. We're still doing well. We just need to, again, the honeymoon phase has ended, basically.
Neil, can I ask you, is it time to trust the process?
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, I've got nothing else to say. But what we did, we can't have again. If this same thing happens against West Brom, I'm looking at the team and Enzo going, why? Because you should learn your lessons.
Yeah, I agree. Well, look, on those bombshells, let's leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Cheers, I know. Again, I'll put you again if you need to. Feel free to plug anything if you want.
Always a good option. Plug the Leicester. All right.
We'll see everybody after the West Brom game. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.